I know everyone's going to be talking about the new Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater Delta Remake in Unreal Engine, but I'm actually not here to talk about MGS3. I'm here to talk about Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker and make a case for why that game should be the one getting the remaster. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker is a PlayStation portable game, and it's better than Snake Eater. And I'm not saying that to be edgy. It's coming from someone who came into this series way late with no nostalgia goggles whatsoever. You have to understand where I'm coming from. I didn't grow up with Metal Gear. I was never a PlayStation kid. My formative stealth action gaming years were about Splinter Cell with Chaos Theory and Pandora Tomorrow. It wasn't until high school that I even saw a Metal Gear game fully in action. I had dabbled very briefly with Metal Gear Solid 2 back on the PlayStation at a friend's house, and it was very confusing and I was horrible at it. I never made it off of the ship in the first level. It wasn't until high school that I even saw a Metal Gear game fully in action. I was at my buddy's house and they were playing Metal Gear Solid 5, which had just come out, and they were playing it in the most insane and chaotic way possible. Riding D-Horse into enemy bases, calling supply drops into guard posts, attaching Fulton balloons to anything that moved. He treated it less like a stealth game and a little more like a physics sandbox. I was intrigued, so I picked it up when it was on a little bit of a sale, and I immediately hated it. I tried to play it like Call of Duty. My tiny zoomer brain would go in guns blazing, sprinting through missions, and the game just punished me. I died instantly. Missions failed left and right. I shelved it for years, thinking this game just wasn't for me. But years later, older, more patient, fully developed frontal lobe, I gave Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain another shot, and suddenly it all clicked.
Too much dopamine, bro? You got this. No. Dude. Dude. Just kill him. Oh. No, you're good. Stop. Okay, well, you're just panicking, bro.
I am.
Okay, so they saw you there, so you want to no longer be there. That's exactly what they're going to look for you at. So you want to crawl around to the other side. Yeah. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Now this guy's going to be singled out, so you might be able to crouch walk into the shadows and get his ass, unless that other guy is looking in that direction. There you go. I would lean against that wall. Yeah, and get ready to grab him around the corner. Yeah, and I'll slit his fucking throat. We know where the prisoners are. Kill him. Yeah!
Mission complete, boss.
Oh!
I devoured this game in just a few weeks. It was tactical freedom I'd never experienced before. That game lit the fire in me to go back and see what the series was really all about. Naturally, I moved on to the one game the entire internet swore was the peak: Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Of course, I played the subsistence version because the old style camera I just couldn't. That wasn't gonna be me. It's not me, okay? I'm not that guy. I went in expecting to be blown away, and in some ways I was. The story, it's still fantastic. Prophetic even. Big Boss is one of the greatest video game characters of all time. The sorrow fight is thought-provoking, the ending is emotional and iconic, but here's the uncomfortable truth. The minute-to-minute gameplay is just okay. Even with the subsistence camera, it's clunky. No crouch walking, stiff aiming, movement restrictions that feel ancient by today's standards. Understandably, I'm playing this game however many years into the future. There are going to be some things that feel odd and outdated and obtuse, but it was just a little too much. And those much hyped systems, the camo system, the healing, the hunger, they sound incredible on paper, but the one time they shine, in my opinion, is in that short section near the end of the game where you have to keep Ava alive. The rest of the time, they feel like half-implemented ideas. And Naked Snake's character, for most of the game, he's a blank slate. The boss and others call him a child, and they're right. He's reactive, not proactive. His transformation into Big Boss happens in the last 20 minutes of the game's narrative. You don't play through his change, you watch it happen to him through cutscenes mostly. And as someone with no nostalgia filter, coming into it as an adult, it just didn't hit me the same way it does people who played it in 2004. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater at the time was cool fantasy wish fulfillment where you got to feel like you were in a James Bond movie, and that's really what this was. And that's fine. I still had fun playing MGS3. Then I got to Peace Walker. And here's where I braced myself for real disappointment. You know, MGS3, rough around the edges, still a fun game that I was glad I played through and was still rewarding and interesting enough to warrant playing through it and enjoying it. But Peace Walker is where I braced myself for disappointment. It's a PlayStation Portable game. My expectations were very low. But from the first few hours, I could feel it. This game was different. It's the first time the series truly lets you take an active role in building Big Boss's identity. You don't just watch the story unfold, you shape it yourself. You recruit soldiers, one Fulton balloon at a time. You manage Mother Base, deciding what to research, who to send on missions around the world, what weapons to develop. You literally build Metal Gear Zeke with the scrap you earn from defeating other Metal Gears. In the Metal Gear Solid game, where you actually fight a bunch of Metal Gears. That's like a whole mechanic of the game, is you fight a bunch of Metal Gears and it's like a central thing you gotta grind through, and that makes sense because it's Metal Gear Solid. And the crazy part, all those choices feel like they matter. Every soldier you extract, every upgrade you finish, it's tangible progress towards Big Boss's dream of a nation without borders. Where Snake Eater felt like a Bond movie homage with the gadgets, tropes, and camp, Peace Walker feels uniquely Metal Gear. It's philosophical, it's strange, and grounded in mechanics that feed the narrative. And then, spoilers, for those who haven't played this game, and you really should, and it is in the HD collection, and go play it. Then there's the AI boss. Hearing the boss's voice again, not as a mentor, but as a digitized weapon of war, is devastating. For you, and especially for Big Boss. It's a moment that hits harder because you are the one deciding whether to preserve her memory or overwrite it to serve your own goals. The turning point? Pause. The reveal, the betrayal, the nuke, and Big Boss's decision to keep it. His justification that soldiers without borders need the ultimate deterrent. It's cold, it's logical, and it's the clearest moment where the man becomes the myth. That's the difference. Peace Walker makes you complicit in that transformation. When I finished Chapter 4, I was ready to call it one of the best games in the franchise. And yeah, Chapter 5 drags. It's not good. Like, if we're going to talk about obtuse game design in MGS3, then Chapter 5 needs no further introduction. Chapter 5 is so bad. It's so weird, and it's so insanely repetitive and grindy that most people probably never get to the true ending. And MGS5 even has that sort of issue as well at the end. The core experience, it's tighter, more emotional, and more interactive than Snake Eater, in my opinion. Big Boss isn't being shaped by others here, he's shaping himself, and you're right there with him, pulling the trigger. Here's what blows my mind. People skip Peace Walker altogether. Whether this is because it's a PlayStation portable game and most people assume it's just like the cell phone, like portable ops or whatever that's called, mobile ops, I don't know. They assume that it's just like that and it's like a throwaway thing and it doesn't matter, or they don't have a PSP, or they don't have the HD collection, or whatever it is. They go straight from Snake Eater to Phantom Pain or whatever, or they go from Phantom Pain back to 2 and then 3 and then they stop, whatever. There's a lot of different ways people get into the series, as I know from experience. But when you go from Snake Eater to Phantom Pain, you miss the connective tissue in Big Boss's story, the why behind his ideology. And without it, his choices in MGS5 feel less grounded. If Konami is going to remake anything, it should be this. Peace Walker doesn't just deserve a remake, it needs one. Give the missions more depth, expand the levels, modernize the controls, and you'd have the coolest thing we'd ever get to a true MGS5 sequel. It already has those same systems, it already has the heart, it just needs the stage on not a discontinued handheld device. Going from completing MGS5 and then back to Peace Walker for the first time, you realize that Peace Walker really was trying out a lot of these systems that became more detailed and fleshed out in MGS5. Since Peace Walker came out a few years before MGS5, a lot of those same ideas made its way into that later game. The base building, recruiting soldiers and sending them on missions around the world in a passive sort of idle game fashion. There's a lot of things that ended up being carried over here, and it actually feels the most like MGS5 out of any other game in the series. So for the people who maybe entered the series at MGS5 because maybe the earlier ones were a little obtuse or a little dated, Peace Walker actually ends up translating the best to the, I think, experience that you may have gotten used to in MGS5. It's snappy, it's faster, and it has all those same mechanics that you've already gotten to know and expect in MGS5. But going from Snake Eater right to MGS5 just feels wrong when Peace Walker is such an actually essential part of the story that really bridges the gap so that you understand how you arrive at the way things are at the beginning of MGS5. Because just going from Snake Eater to MGS5, you kind of feel like you missed a birthday at the beginning of the game. You're like, how did all this happen? I didn't know. What do you mean he had a nuke and we were attacked, but why? And he built the whole army? I didn't know that, and that's weird because he goes from nobody, just random soldier guy who gets a metal pin to his chest at the end of MGS3 and a little bit of distrust in his own government, that sucks really bad, to he's like a war general who has his own army, the privatized, PMC, if you will, that runs around the globe killing people for the highest bidder and having nukes. I mean, it just is a weird jump. But when you play Peace Walker, it actually slides right into MGS5 in a way that makes total sense. You feel like you fully understand what's going on. There's actually so much in MGS5 that is like directly carried over from Peace Walker, and it's like really confusing if you don't play that game. Metal Gear Solid 3, it's a classic, don't get me wrong, but Peace Walker is essential. It's the game that turns Big Boss from a legend you hear about into a man you help create. And if Konami has any sense at all, Peace Walker's next. Thanks so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching and giving me some of your time today. It means the world to me. I love making content like this, and I'm going to continue to do so. Comment down below and tell me what you thought about the video, what I talked about. Give me your thoughts. I would love to hear it. I try to respond to them all. Like the video if you enjoyed. Lets me know you want to see more content like this. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. It supports me in the channel. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And hit the bell as well to be notified when new uploads come out. I'll see you on the next video, and I hope you have a great day.